Hello, I'm Mehar Minhas, and welcome to another episode of Rewired. Today I have Nityanand ji with me, and we're going to be exploring the question, can success actually make us happy? So, you work for one thing for a really long time, and it's your goal to achieve it. And once you have achieved it, for a week or so, you're going to be completely satisfied with that goal. Another day passes, and you're like, you realize this is not enough for you and you want to strive for more. So, this brings up the question, can success really make you happy? Um, so, we're going to be starting with the question, why does getting exactly what you want, what you worked for so long, feel disappointing the moment you actually have it?
Because it is the nature of the mind to adapt quickly to a situation, and the mind hankers for something new, and that happens only when we are on a material platform, because the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, or all the scriptures teach us, that we are not these material bodies, we are not even our mind, we are spiritual beings. So a spiritual being trying to find everlasting happiness in something which is material, it is an incompatible situation. And the nature of anything which is matter or material is, it is forever changing. So anything which is constantly changing cannot give us real happiness or constant happiness. So therefore, as soon as we reach the finish line changes and we are not satisfied. So if we really have to start, if we really have to find real happiness, we have to start looking for that in things which are of similar nature. Just like you are a North Indian, you are Punjabi, and so am I. So we may eat other things in the world, but unless we eat our food which is natural to us, that typical North Indian food rich in ghee and makhan and stuff like that, our hearts don't find that satisfaction. We are not completely satisfied. Similarly, we are spiritual beings, and therefore spiritual life is our natural life. The more we stay connected to it, the more we shall be happy. Achievement and success can give us comfort, but not fulfillment. There is a difference between achievement and fulfillment. So just like a fish, the natural environment for the fish is water. You take the fish out of water, take it on a world tour, give the best of costumes to the fish, the best of food, the fish is not going to be happy. The fish will always keep looking for something else. But when the fish is back in water, now whether the fish gets anything or nothing, the fish is extremely satisfied, happily swimming. So this finish line will keep moving till we keep looking for happiness in material objects or anything which is matter. Because anything which is material has a shelf life. Today that makes you happy, 6 months later you will have to change that. You will look for something else. So therefore we have to look for things which are permanent in nature. God is permanent, His name is permanent, His word is permanent. So the more we connect with these things, the more the soul is happy. Now then, whether the body gets something or not, it doesn't really matter in the long run then.
Wow. So the entire Indian academic system is built on the idea that achievement leads to a good life. Now, is that true, or is that a damaging story we tell young people?
I say it's a scam. Because tell me, is there any subject in the world, in the schools and colleges, which is actually teaching the children how to deal with failures, how to deal with relationship issues, how to deal with mental health crisis, how to develop good character, how to develop purity, how to become humble, gentle, how to become an asset to society? The whole educational system is only geared towards producing first-class labor. And therefore, even children who are coming from good families, after they complete their education, the next thought is, oh, where can I get a good job? Even though the family might have a well-established business. So the original educational system was what we had before the Britishers came into India, and the Gurukul system, where children were taught scriptures, and in the scriptures we find the value system, which is character based, not personality based. Personality based means how I look, how I appear in my social interactions, how to smile, how to dress up, how to manipulate your way to success. And character means developing qualities of humility, compassion, selflessness, service attitude, seva, modesty. And this is what actually makes a person an asset to society, somebody who can make some positive contribution to others' lives. So the Gurukul system, the scriptures were taught, the subjects that were taught were actually centered around making a person into a good human being based on character ethics. And the scriptures, the subjects also taught how to handle the ups and downs of life, how to handle difficult situations in life, and how to achieve real happiness, and what is truly sacred, what should we be actually focusing upon, not on the ever-changing things, situations of the world, but on that current which is permanent. Because if we hold on to something that which is permanent, then even when the world around us changes, we are not affected. And that's what real knowledge is all about. Now tell me, is there any subject in any part of the world which is teaching us that? And therefore I say it's a scam unless we are taught those values, unless we are taught how to develop that inner strength.
Yeah, now a lot of people just learn from experience, but school has to be teaching something like that.
Exactly. I'm not saying you give up that kind of education also which you are getting right now, but there has to be equal importance given to this side also. We are not just making sure that we are not just producing some machine, a robot. Whatever you study in the books, that's what you write. Based on that, your performance is judged, and accordingly you get marks, and accordingly you are selected for a particular job or rejected. No, our worth is way beyond that, much more than that. But the educational system just confines us to a very, very limited definition of success. And based on that, people are judging themselves. Their true potential has gotten limited.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening with people my age. Everyone's like, your smartness is measured through what grades you get, what you get out of 45 in IB. Yeah, it's quite.
So there is a country, I think Norway or some country, they have abolished exams, and they are educating and encouraging people based on their skills and inclinations. And that was what the original educational system was. Based on your inclination, of course, you were taught these subjects which I just spoke about, and you were also taught 64 skills. So you were well prepared. You had a very balanced education. So, and it would be, and every aspect of that education was helpful in your life. What we are getting today is like we are being made into pen drives, hard disks, lot of information, and you just vomit it out. And how much you vomit it out, and how it is as it is, verbatim. If you just repeat it as it is, and that's your worth, then you are an intelligent person. But whether you have realized that information or so-called knowledge you are getting, that's not questioned.
Yeah, this is why a lot of people my age are using AI and other tools to like just get the grades rather than actually learn something. After giving the exam, we don't know what we learned.
That's even more dangerous, because the moment you stop using your brain, after a while you will lose the total ability to use it.
We can't write, like so many people, like I struggle writing an essay myself now because of my reliance on AI. So that's been cut down quite a bit. You realize after a certain amount of time the real impact that such platforms have. Is it important? Is it possible to work hard, want things, pursue goals, and simultaneously not tie your entire sense of self to the outcome?
Because that's the original teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. That's maturity. Our goal should be to do the best. Now, whether we get what we want is irrelevant, because if you have tried your best, you are a success. But the world judges us based on the outcome. But we have to be very, very convinced that we will judge our true birth based on our effort. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that you have the right to perform your duty, but not entitled to the results of your action. The reason is because there are 5 factors responsible for success in any endeavor. So simply staying focused on the effort and not on the outcome is going to save us from a lot of problems. Because people who stay attached to the outcome, they are not even able to put in the best effort because of the anxiety of the outcome. So Bhagavad Gita teaches there are 5 factors responsible for success in any endeavor. It is not just the effort. And that is also going to convey why we should only be attached to the effort. What does the world teach? Hard work is the key to success, but it is just one of the factors. The first factor is the person who is doing it. For example, if a person does not know how to cook, how to paint, and if you tell them to cook or paint, it will not be a success. So the first important factor is the person. Second is the place. Where is it taking place? Each factor is bigger than the previous one. Third is effort, hard work. But you see sometimes the person at the right place with the right amount of effort and the right person also, but still no success. Have you seen such people in life? They are trying their best. They are at the right place with the right amount of endeavor, but struggling to be successful because the fourth factor is in play, and that is destiny. So even if you are the right person at the right place with the right amount of endeavor, but if the destiny is not in your favor, you will not be successful.
There's a lot about destiny and love.
But there is one factor which is bigger than destiny, the Bhagavad Gita teaches, which is the grace of God, the will of the providence, the will of God. And if somehow you get that factor in your favor, then even if certain things are not in your destiny, you will still get them by His grace. It is just like, just to give you a crude example of the power of grace. If a person has been sentenced to 10 years in prison, now on his own he cannot get out. But if he gets the grace of some higher authorities, some government authorities, then he can be released in 5 years also. So that is something called grace. So that's why apart from putting in our best effort, we should also put in equal effort, if not more, in trying to fetch that divine grace by having a very strong spiritual foundation in our life. And especially the years 6 to 16 are the foundational years of our life. And during that time, we can easily get distracted. But if we can prioritize our spiritual well-being also, if we regularly chant God's names, we study scriptures, we associate with saintly people, we celebrate festivals with family, with the right spirit, then that spiritual foundation will help us have a lot of clarity and maturity. Because the part of understanding is not to simply be successful in life, but to learn to handle failures as well. Because we will not always get what we want. And spirituality brings that maturity of acceptance of everything after giving our best. So therefore there was a famous philosopher, Socrates, he said, we should work hard as if everything depends on us, and we should pray hard as if everything depends on God. And both must go simultaneously. Both must happen simultaneously.
What would you tell a person who's achieved everything that they've ever wanted and everything that has been expected out of them, but they still feel like it's not enough?
Yeah, the same thing. Remembering that material success will not give you fulfillment. It can simply, material achievements can take you to a certain level of comfort. But that inner contentment, that fulfillment, that satisfaction can only come when we are reconnected to our natural environment. In order to experience happiness, first we have to understand who we are. Now, a fish is trying to climb a tree, thinking that this will make me happy. What happens if the fish tries to come out of water and tries to climb a tree? Will die. Will get frustrated. Even if it manages to climb the tree, it will fall because that's not the fish's natural environment. So the first thing we need to understand if we are looking for true happiness is our identity. And our identity is that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not matter. We are spirit souls, we are spiritual beings. So food for the body is different, food for the soul is different. Food for the body we keep providing, but what about the food for us, the real self, the soul? So as long as, now for example, if I'm feeling hungry and I call you up, Meher, please eat something, I'm feeling very hungry, that is not going to satisfy my hunger. So as long as we think that by providing comforts and facilities for this body through achievements, through money, we will be happy, I think we are making a big mistake, because we are just feeding the wrong person. You have to feed the body, you have to take care of the body, it is important, but don't forget to feed yourself, and you are spiritual. So if you have a strong spiritual foundation and strong spiritual connection, that will fetch you the goal of your aspiration, the real happiness, the real contentment, the real satisfaction, not simply running after material things, material achievements. So both can go hand in hand, but we cannot neglect this spiritual aspect of our lives.
Is happiness a destination you arrive at, or is it a byproduct of something else entirely?
It is a byproduct of having deep, meaningful relationships in life, living a life of gratitude, and most importantly, a strong spiritual foundation, and living a life of service. Because the law of karma is, whatever we share, whatever we give, is what we get back in return. So if we are sharing happiness, if we are serving others, putting a smile on their faces, then that's what we get back in return. But if we are giving pain to others, then our lives become miserable. Even if we have everything, we will not be able to live in peace. Gratitude helps us appreciate what we have been blessed with. So that's why it is said gratitude is something that turns what you have into enough. A person who does not have gratitude is constantly hankering for what some other person has, and therefore is not able to enjoy what he has been given. So lack of gratitude creates artificial poverty in a person's life. So if a person is grateful for whatever situation he is in, whatever he has been blessed with, he is always happy. So happiness is the byproduct of gratitude, service attitude, seva, a strong spiritual foundation, and also having deep, meaningful relationships. I'm not saying too many relationships, but even if we have like 2-3 relationships, but they have to be deep, meaningful. And that means people in a relationship are constantly thinking about each other's happiness rather than their own. They're not thinking about I, me, and mine. So each party is thinking about how to make the other person happy. And if we can just follow these principles, happiness is just going to follow, just like a calf. Now, the cow is big. You're trying to take the cow somewhere, the cow is not willing to move. Then what do? You simply take the calf and walk ahead of the cow. The cow will automatically follow. Similarly, if we constantly look for happiness, it just evades us. We may never find it. But when we walk with values of gratitude, seva, spiritual foundation, meaningful relationships, leading a very pious, pure, sattvic life, then happiness follows like the cow, automatically follows the calf. So there is a weighing scale. Example I always give. So there are two sides of weighing scale, A side and the B side. Now remember, any type of happiness, satisfaction, success, peace in life that we experience is the result of having led a very pious, pure, sattvic life based on religious God-given principles, sinless life. And any amount of pain that we experience in life is the result of having made some unethical, immoral, sinful, whimsical choices. So depending on which side the weightage is more, if the weightage is more on the good side, suppose A is the good side, pious, sattvic, pure, sinless life, religious life, God-centered life, then the most blissful, favorable situations will keep manifesting in your life as a result of that. So happiness is a byproduct. And if we are leading a very sinful life, unethical, immoral life, whimsical life, doing whatever we like to do without even considering the right and wrong, then even if we have everything, even if we are trying our best, we'll be miserable. We'll experience pain. And I always give this guarantee that if you lead a very pious, pure, sattvic life, sinless life, tomorrow, even if the whole world is destroyed, nothing will happen to you. And if you make some whimsical, unethical, sinful choices, it may give you pleasure at the moment. But tomorrow, even if the whole world is enjoying, you will continue to suffer. So have very, very deep, meaningful relationships. Think about making the other person happy. Do seva, because whatever you share happiness. That's what you get back in return as a byproduct. Not by looking for your own happiness, but by trying to make others happy. Have a strong spiritual foundation, strong sadhana, strong spiritual practices. Give time, and have a very sattvic, pure, religious life, God-centered life. Because that, and all these factors, if we keep in mind, if we practice, then happiness is just going to follow. As I gave the example, just like the cow follows the calf without any extra effort. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So, last question. But we talk about success and we work things for success and we want to be happy because of our success. Now, how do you know what real success is? Okay, materialistic success aside, what can success be in life? Like achieving a goal or how we really feel?
No matter what people are doing, ultimately their goal is to be happy. Now, some people want success in business. They think business is my goal, but the person is lying. The goal is not business, the goal is happiness. Because the person thinks doing well in business will make him happy, so he wants to pursue that hobby or whatever, wants to engage in that activity. The activity is never the goal. Somebody wants to get into a relationship. The relationship is not the goal, it is just a medium. Because the person thinks this relationship will make me happy. So therefore I want to pursue this. But the moment that the relationship stops giving the person happiness, he looks for something else. He wants a change in the situation. So ultimately, whatever we are trying to do, the goal remains happiness. That is true success. So what is the point of having a lot of money, having a palatial house, having the best of food to eat, but you can't even sleep properly, and you're not even happy. You're constantly living in anxiety. So this is one. But if you go one level up, according to the scriptures, the success of human life is judged by only one principle, that whether what we are doing, whatever we are doing, is it pleasing to Krishna, is it pleasing to God? Living by those morals and standards, that is considered to be true success. And that will guarantee ultimate happiness, not just in this lifetime, but life after life after life. So therefore, we have to constantly ask, is what I am doing or is what I am going to speak, is it in line with the will of God? And if we keep that in mind, we'll always stay on the right track. We'll not get deviated, we'll not get distracted from the true goal of life. So the success is essentially, to sum it up, it is explained, the goal of human life is only one: self-realization, God-realization. And everything else that we do, if it is helping us in achieving that goal, then it's a success. Otherwise, if something is taking us away from this goal, then it's a failure. That's how we should judge. So everything that we do should align with that ultimate goal. Is it bringing me closer to that goal? Is it bringing me closer to God? Is it increasing my faith in God, or is it taking me away from Him? That's how we judge the success or failure of any activity.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We will be back with another one shortly.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.